If my YouTube channel and videos help you, please consider donating to our ongoing expenses. Any amount will do. $1 is a big help for us. Donation link is on the description. Thank you in advance. Have a great day. Hi everyone, it's me Roselyn, and now we will discuss the process for getting a K1 fiancé visa. Okay, so a US citizen can sponsor a foreign fiancé for a K1 fiancé visa, which will allow them to come to the United States to get married and to apply for green card. So the process will break down to 3 categories. The first step, the US citizen or the petitioner will file or apply or submit the form I-129F to the USCIS or the US Citizenship and Immigration Services, included with the other documents such as proof of ongoing relationship, meet for the past 2 years, letter of intent, birth certificate, passport. I have a separate video for the complete requirements for K1 fiancé visa. Okay, so just watch that video and you will know what are the complete requirements for application for the K1 fiancé visa. Okay, and there are 2 departments of the federal government are involved with the processing of fiancé visa. The first is the USCIS, which is the US Citizenship and Immigration Service, and then the next one, the US Department of State. The Department of State handles the processing of the application at the American Embassy or consulate overseas in the country where your fiancé lives. Okay, all the fiancé visa cases, the form I-129F are first sent to Dallas, and then they will distribute it randomly to around the USA to 5 different processing centers. Okay, so once the petitioner submit the form I-129F and all the documents, it will be sent to Dallas, and then the office from Dallas will distribute all the cases randomly to the 5 centers. So the petitioner will receive a NOA 1, which is Notice of Action 1, and you will see where your application went, because there is a 3 letters stating the departments or centers where your application went. Okay, so if your first 3 letters is EAC, that is Vermont, meaning your application, they send it to Vermont and then they will process your application. If LIN, your application went to Nebraska, and then if MSC, your application went to Missouri, WAC, your application went to California, and SRC, your application went to Texas. That are the 5 different processing centers. Okay, and then the USCIS will examine your application, review all your documents, and the USCIS will verify that you are eligible to apply, and then the FBI gets involved and does a criminal background check on the American. Okay, so if you have cases like you are arrested or something like that, you have to provide documents pertaining for that, because the FBI will do a criminal background check. Okay, and then at this stage, when the USCIS finds missing documents or problems, they either deny your application or they will send an RFE or request for evidence listing what is missing and giving you about a month to fix the issue. So when you receive an RFE, you have to comply whatever listed on the RFE letter, and then you will send back to the address written on the RFE letter. And then there is an expiration for that. So before the RFE expired, you have to send your documents pertaining what is listed on the RFE. Okay? And then after that, when the USCIS is satisfied, USCIS conditionally approves the application for the next 4 months. Within that time, your fiancé is expected to have had her consulate interview. Okay, and then the case is passed over the Department of State. The Department of State has a processing center in New Hampshire called the National Visa Center, or NVC. After the first part of your case is approved, the case will be transferred to the U.S. State Department's National Visa Center, and you will be contacted by the office with regards to the visa interview for your fiancé at the U.S. Embassy in the country where they presently live. Okay, and NVC briefly handles the case. During this time, they choose which consulate conducts further processing of your case. They assign a new case number that identifies the consulate and ship the file via diplomatic pouch to the consulate in her country. So this is the time that once the petitioner already received the NOAA 1 and the NOAA 2, which is the Notice of Action 2, the NVC will send an NVC letter to the petitioner where your Manila case number is written on that letter. Or not Manila case number if you are not living in the Philippines. It's not called Manila case number, okay? It's called the case number. So the case number starts with 3 letters that indicate which consulate is assigned. Example, if you live in the Philippines, that is MNL. So MNL for Manila, Philippines. GUZ for Guangzhou, China. CDJ for Juarez, Mexico. RDJ for Rio, Brazil. BGT for Bogota, Colombia. SDO for Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. HCM for Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. KEV for Kyiv, Ukraine. MOS for Moscow, Russia. Sorry if I pronounce, if there is a country that I pronounce incorrectly, I apologize for that. Please bear with me. Sorry for that. So that are the 3 letters that indicate which consulate, your application will be assigned, okay, and conduct your interview. Okay, so it takes about 2 weeks for the case file to arrive and be entered into the overseas consulate system. Once there, the consulate contacts your fiancé with instruction, notification by mail, phone, or email. So, on the letter that the U.S. Embassy will send to the beneficiary, it stated there how to book the visa interview appointment, where and how to pay the visa application fee, where to obtain the medical, and finally a checklist what she should bring to the interview. I think that is eligibility letter. But some says even you don't receive your eligibility letter, you can still set an appointment once you already have your case number. Okay, if you live in the Philippines, once you already have the Manila case number, you can pay for your visa, set the visa appointment and visa interview appointment, and then set your medical. Okay, and then once your petitioner already received your NVC letter, that's the time you need to bring that to your medical and to your interview. Okay, at the interview, the beneficiary will present all the documents and meet with a consular officer. Okay, so the consular officer, his job is to catch fraud. Okay, the consular will know if your application is fraud. Okay, so the consular officer will ask you different questions, okay, to assess whether he will grant your visa, or if ineligibility is discovered or fraud suspected, they will deny your visa. And if the interview ends with "Welcome to America," the fiancé passport with its new K1 visa attached is returned to her about 2 weeks later. Okay, so meaning when the consular officer said "Welcome to America," meaning your visa is approved, and then the beneficiary will just wait for her to receive the passport and then the yellow packet. Okay, so once the fiancé visa is approved, it is good for 6 months for her to start to travel to the United States. And once the beneficiary arrives here in the United States, the beneficiary has 90 days to marry the petitioner, but if not, leave the USA. Okay, so once you got here in the United States and you did not marry within 90 days, the beneficiary needs to go back to his or her own country, home country. Okay, don't do TNT. Okay, and then after that, after you got married, the next step is the beneficiary will apply for adjustment of status, which when complete gives her or his a green card and grants her or his permission to remain here in the United States. So I hope it was clear. So I will just break down. The petitioner will send the K1 fiancé visa application or the form I-129F with all the documents to the USCIS, and then the USCIS will send NOAA 1, meaning the USCIS already received the application, and then the USCIS, once they review it and check all the documents, the USCIS will send notice of action 2 to the petitioner. But if not, if there is a missing documents, the USCIS will send RFE or request for additional evidence to the petitioner, and then the petitioner will comply with that and send those list of documents needed and send back to the USCIS. And then after send it back to the USCIS, those RFE, the USCIS will check that, and if it is good, the USCIS will send notice of action to the petitioner. Then after that, the USCIS will send those documents to the NVC, and NVC will process that, and then the NVC will send a NVC letter to the petitioner where you can find your case number. Then after that, when the petitioner already received the NVC letter and the petitioner already have the case number, the beneficiary can pay the visa, set a visa interview appointment, and then set the medical appointment. And then after that, the beneficiary will do the medical. Then after the medical, the beneficiary will do the interview. And then during the interview, when it's all good, and then the consul asks for all the documents, so you have to bring all the documents you need for the interview. I already have separate video for that. And then if you are good and the consular is happy and the consular don't need any documents, the consular will say welcome to America, meaning you are approved. But if the consular did not say that, just ask the consular officer if your visa is approved. Okay, once your visa is approved, you just wait to send you the passport together with the yellow packet. And then after that, if you receive your passport with your fiancé visa attached to the passport, you have 60 days to come here to the United States. And then when you come here to the United States, you have 90 days to get married. And then after you get married, you can process your adjustment of status for your green card. So I hope I explained it well, the process for the K1 fiancé visa. If you have questions, clarifications, please feel free to comment on my video. And if you have another topic that you want me to explain, or do you want me to search it for you, just comment to my video and I will find time to do a research for you. Okay, so have a great day everyone. Bye bye.